Can everyone? Okay. I was wondering, like, why are my sound levels down? Okay, I think we got that fixed. How's everyone today? Have we looked at the as ever drop? What do you think? Let's just turn this music down. Do you remember to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button, folks? And I hope you all are having a fantastic week. Right, let's get to it. Yes, new as ever drop. Here we go, 2026. Now we're on a roll. What is going on? Oh my gosh. Wait, hang on a sec, folks. I do not know what is going. Oh my goodness. What is this? Did you all just hear that noise? StreamYard started talking. I hope you didn't hear any of that nonsense. StreamYard's just been overtaken by a different company, and it's just like this pop-up message just started playing in the background there. Like, what the hell was that? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I hope you didn't hear any of that nonsense. Okay, you didn't hit good. It was just a really annoying, like, message from StreamYard. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get into it. Meghan dropped a new set with a new item. So the A Moment to Unwind set, which has the sage honey with the honeycomb and the peppermint tea with a new item, the leather bookmark, which I think is actually adorable. It says fell asleep here. This is a great gifting set or self-gifting or giving to someone else. And it's already sold out. So I don't know how many of these they had. You know that the haters definitely got their ones. I find it so funny that all the major tabloids and women's magazines and whatnot, because I don't think they, from what I can see with the marketing, I don't think as ever give PR packages to magazines, at least not yet anyway. They definitely don't give them to the tabloids. So if they want to be able to review these items, they have to be there waiting with 100 tabs open to get them like everybody else gets them. I love the leather bookmark. I think that's such a sweet little touch with Meghan's handwriting. I was trying to figure out because I saw the preview, right? And it was like this white book, and you could see the bookmark. So I was like, is it photo albums? Is it journals? Is it stationery? Given that we've seen that this is now a bookmark, I'm wondering if stationery is going to be part of the next rollout within this year. Because bookmark, to me, that says we're going to be doing stationery as well. But I love how everything so far is kind of being themed around things, around gifting, around being cozy. And you can see in the way that it's also been marketed. You've got the peppermint tea, add a little bit of honey, and cozy up with your book. Oh, did someone manage to get the set? A1, you managed to get the set. Fantastic. Good for you. I wonder if they're going to sell the bookmark on its own. I mean, it's quite a small item, but then it's, if you're going to ship it out by itself, but then it's the type of item that you could fit in a letter through the letterbox. Yeah, blink and the next thing you knew it was sold out. This is one of the days where you need the haters because they would have checked how many were in inventory. Yeah, it's such a classy, cute little bookmark, right? Um, Wait, was the bookmark sold on its own? Because I only saw the set. Wait, hang on a minute. Let me go back to the website. When I clicked on the link through Instagram, I only saw the set. Let's have a look. Yeah, it just yes, the bookmark was sold. Thank you so much. I think it's because the link through the Instagram only went to the set, so I didn't see the bookmark on its own. So the bookmark is $18. Let me just gosh, it's so beautifully crafted as well. Oh, it's a limited edition piece made of Lux black leather, sustainably sourced leather, and it's handmade in the UK. So she actually opted to have these made in the UK. And it's not cheap now importing anything into the US, only to then export it again. So Meghan actually went out of her way to pick a UK manufacturer. I think that speaks volumes because she didn't have to. So she's giving the UK business still. And I wonder if any of these tabloids are even going to mention that. These people never deserved Meghan. But I hope she does bring the bookmark back. I hope she brings it back, and I hope we can get it in white as well. If anybody as ever is listening, can we get it in white and also red? I think red would look great with the gold handwriting. And in a brown, a camel brown and a dark brown. Thank you. Appreciated. And then give us a set with all 5. And the website just looks so beautiful. It's so well done. I can't wait for them to add a blog. If you're listening, as ever, people, please add a blog. All right. Lottie, did everyone get a bookmark? Well, it's sold out. So, unfortunately, I don't think everybody got their bookmark. Oh, red. Yes. TV Oud. I think red would be gorgeous. Let's see what else you lot are saying. You can't wait for As Ever to come to Canada. I cannot wait for As Ever to be international. I mean, they're only selling in the US and they're selling out. And I think, isn't the raspberry jam, isn't it still sold out? The spread? Yeah, the raspberry spread still hasn't come back. I mean, they may have shifted some of the inventory for the gift boxes. So that they could, capture the holiday shopping. But we're still waiting for individual raspberry spread to come back, but you can still get it in the gift set. The mulling spices, that's still available. Yeah, everything else is still available. It's just the raspberry spread that's taken time, but that seems to be the absolute bestseller at the moment. Those of you who have got the candle, what did you think of it? Everyone who I've spoken to have loved it so far. That the scent throw is really good. It does have a bit of paraffin wax, which isn't everybody's favorite for candles, but the paraffin wax is what actually gives luxury candles their scent throw. And then the coconut and the soy wax is what gives it that smooth, creamy texture. and they use a mix of fragrance oil, so that the fragrance oil it's more aromatic than the essential oils, so you get more of a higher level of fragrance, because the essential oils are natural, but you don't get the same level of fragrance. So fragrance oil with a little bit of paraffin wax, you get really good scent throw. You can tell how much I love candles and how much I know about candles. So I can't wait to get my hands on even the way people describe it, like the fact that you don't even have to light the candle to get the scent. That's how I know the scent throw has to be very good. And even the look of the candle, the smoothness, that's how you know they definitely use, and I can see it in the ingredients. They use both coconut wax and soy wax. So that's how you get the smooth appearance that the candle has. And in the ceramic, just timeless. And you can use it even afterwards as a keepsake, as a flower pot. Just fantastic branding all around. Fantastic. All right, enough candle literacy for one day. Yes, Elect, the UK press gritting their teeth over Meghan helping a UK business. I mean, grit your teeth all you want, right? At least she was thoughtful enough to do that. And everything Meghan touches does well. I mean, you had a jeans company that had to make a whole new wing of their factory just because Meghan wore their jeans. A1 Kennedy, I believe Meghan was familiar with the small woman in business. Okay, you said that she met the woman in Paris? Okay, well, I've literally just gotten up on my side of the planet and the drop was last night, so I haven't been able to even sit down and read maybe what you lot have read. The bookmark sold out in 7 minutes. Impressive. TV said, my candle scents anything. I put it on the box. I mean, it's everybody that I've listened to talk about the candle, even the haters, are like, the candle's great. Ron, you said it's a woman owner. She met her at Paris Fashion Week. That is wonderful. Okay. Let's get into some of the stories of the last 48 hours. Because there's a few things to get through. There's a few things to get through. Gosh, what do we what do we even start with? What do we start with today? I mean, I would love to just talk about as ever all day and just stare at these pretty pictures. But there's a few things for us to get through. So let's get through those first. Let me just go to my notes. Let's have a look. One moment, folks. Right, let's start with this rather interesting story about William hiring a crisis manager. Now, why would you hire a crisis manager if there's no crisis? Apparently, this is a new one. What's Jason Knopf doing then? Is Jason Knopf just there to give William a hug when William's feeling sad? So this is according to the Mail, so somebody's leaked. Last April, there was a curious story about Prince William, one which has never been mentioned in any reporting since. It turned out that William had suddenly decided to be his own man and not use his daddy's law firm or his late grandmother's law firm. William hired Michon de Rea, an all-purpose law firm, for what I imagine was a full slate of private, professional, personal, and royal businesses. Oh, and by the way, where does the money to pay for these rather expensive, top-notch law firms come from? Law firms that do things like put in super injunctions so we don't know what these people are up to. What was especially interesting is that Princess Diana hired Michonne de Rea as her divorce lawyers back in the 1990s. Now, one thing we know about these royals is they have no originality at all. It's just one big cycle that continues. So that was quite fascinating, isn't it? That William would have hired his late mother's lawyers, and that this story, indeed, a celebrity says, has not been mentioned since. Even more so because no one ever talked about it again. Well, William has made another interesting hire. He's brought in a new crisis management expert named Lisa Ravenscroft, which is such an Agatha Christie-ass name. uh, yeah, it's definitely Lisa Ravenscroft is giving Agatha Christie Sherlock Holmes. What crisis though? Indeed, what crisis? If there's no crisis, why do you need a crisis manager? Lisa Ravenscroft, I hope that you have burnt the midnight oil, burnt all the incest, burnt that real strong temple interest. You ever walk past the temple and you get the beautiful whiff of that incense? I hope she burnt the strongest incense, said all the prayers, covered herself in holy water, did 3 backflips and a cartwheel to bless herself for what's about to come. I give her a few months before she bows out. Do I have a picture of her? Here we go. I give her a month. Minimum a month, maximum a year. There she is. So apparently she was championed by Julian Payne, the former communications secretary to Charles and Camilla, who is now the CEO of Edelman. So Edelman is actually quite a big PR firm. They have several offices around the world, but they deal with all kinds of PR. Not just crisis management PR, but they even do things like standard commercial PR for all types of brands. So Prince William has hired a crisis management expert as the royal family continues to wrestle with the fallout from Andrew's association with Jeffrey Epstein. I can't even say her name. And it's not even Lisa, it's Lisa. Like her parents wanted something unique. Lisa with a Z, Ravenscroft, described as bulletproof sunshine by a former boss, has been recruited from the blue chip communications firm Elderman, where she works arm in arm with big names facing into their toughest times. That description could apply to William as the Andrew saga rumbles on. Do you know what? Nothing about the Andrew saga would have affected the Unroyal Mafia this much if they had just held him accountable and not babied him. If they had actually come out and said that we're not going to harbor somebody who behaves in this way, even if they're family, this wouldn't be a crisis. If they had disowned him and held him accountable and he had to face the law and the courts, and the Unroyal Mafia had stood firm and shown a sense of morals and said, we're not going to baby this individual just because they're a member of this royal family, this wouldn't be a crisis. I think people would actually congratulate them for having a backbone. But of course, they're not going to do that. Andrew probably knows too much. He's too much of a loose cannon. So they've had to baby him and keep him close to keep him silent. So now is the crisis. Truth and honesty and having a moral backbone averts all crises. But truth and honesty and morals, not something you're going to get with this unroyal mafia. A source told the Mail on Sunday Julian Payne has stayed close to the king, so it's unlikely to be a coincidence that one of his most senior and respected members of staff has taken a key role in William's office after a period of turmoil, and when they are looking for closer alignment between Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace as minds turn to William's eventual succession. Just because it's someone that Charles thinks is fit for a role like this doesn't necessarily mean that Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace are close. If anything, it could mean that William just poached someone that is known and respected in the industry, has connections, or has already worked within the royal fold. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's good communication between the two palaces. If anything, it could mean that perhaps he's poached this person aiming to get information and insight on what Charles and Camilla and Buckingham Palace are up to. Because I don't think the two houses are on good terms at all right now. Ms. Ravencroft declares on her CV that multinational brands have never had higher expectations nor more scrutiny when things go wrong, and boasts that she tells companies how to get past an issue as quickly as possible with minimum dents. It's often front page stuff, from boycott campaigns to actual allegations to serious safety issues, geopolitical and ethical risks. While Ms. Lisa with a Z, Ravenscroft, you are dealing with the royal family, not a chocolate brand, not a car brand, not a drinks brand, not a fashion brand with the royal family. This is a completely different bunch of crabs in a barrel. So you can't compare this to working with a commercial brand, because the royal family isn't a commercial brand. They want to be a brand in some respects, but they are a social political entity. And you're looking at all that encompasses in the current social political climate. These people have got to be foolish if they think they're going to navigate this the way you would navigate, I don't know, a drinks brand being tone deaf in their advertisements. Andrew has been stripped of his royal titles and evicted from his 30-bedroom mansion, Royal Lodge in Windsor. Well, not yet. Still got a couple of months before he's actually booted out. But questions continue to mount about the extent and duration of his links to the late Epstein. The way that the Daily Fail is trying to spin this, they're making it look like this lady, Lisa with a Z, has been hired just to deal with the Andrew situation. They haven't even touched on, and they wouldn't, that there's a whole another crisis potentially in William and Kate's house, and the optics of what that is looking like when they step out in public. People are starting to ask questions about their marriage, so they're trying to spin this as, oh, she's come in to help with the Andrew situation, but I think it's about more than that. A Kensington Palace source, so basically Kensington Palace themselves, told the Mail on Sunday Lisa is joining in a non-crisis based role in the KP press office, working on the day-to-day press interaction Kensington Palace has. People who work in communications for the royal household come from an array of backgrounds. So Kensington Palace themselves, not a source, Kensington Palace themselves leaked to the Mail on Sunday that Lisa is joining in a non-crisis based role. A crisis manager from one of the top firms in the world is joining the royal family on a non-crisis based role. These people think we're dumb. I mean, granted, anybody who actually reads the Daily Fail without questioning or reading between the lines is dumb. But they forget there's the rest of us out here, outside in the real world, who can read between the lines. And we ain't stupid. Ain't nobody hiring a crisis manager to take on non-crises. If you just wanted a standard communications officer to go back and forth with the press on a daily basis, you could even hire a midweight PR person from any midweight PR firm in the country. Not somebody from the top firm. None of these things are crises. Harry trying to get police protection for his family, the Sussexes in California, Andrew's debauched degenerate past haunting him 24/7, Kate's self-declared recovery and remission from cancer, Charles's improved health. While many seem to think that this is about William and Kate's marriage, I think this is a significant passage. Julian Payne has stayed close to the king, so it's unlikely to be a coincidence that one of his most senior and respected members of his staff has taken a key role in William's office after a period of turmoil. This feels less like William understanding that he is the one in crisis and more like Charles ordering Kensington Palace to bring in seasoned, competent professionals so that William and Kate's operations won't be so juvenile. I mean, it could also be that. So their operations won't be so juvenile, half-assed and clownish. Although, I wonder if Kate and William are willing to take any orders from Charles at this point, but maybe this is the one thing that they'll listen to. If that is the case, if that's why she has come in, there should have been a major house cleaning in 2024 after the months-long debacle of Kate Missington and the global kill order of the Mother's Day photo. Instead, they mostly kept the same clowns around, and they've just been limping along ever since, stalking the Sussexes and buying emotional support polls. Indeed. I mean, that's PR for these people. Emotional support polls, YouGov polls, telling us that Kate is the most popular royal. And what does that do for us to hear constantly that Kate is the most popular royal, that Anne is perceived as the most hardworking royal? It's just propaganda to push a message that isn't sticking. And so this is why we're now at a point where we've now had to bring in a non-crisis crisis manager. Very interesting. And he's still got Jason off lingering in the shadows, apparently. He seems to pop up every now and again. But it's quite telling. And the article that I've just read is correct. They had a whole disaster with Kate Missington and the Frankenstein Mother's Day photo that got a kill order, and they didn't shake up their team. That was actually the time to bring in Miss Lisa with a Z. Miss Lisa Ravenscroft and all her Harry Potter wizardry. That was the time to bring her in. Why did you not bring someone like her in then? Because that was honestly the disaster of all disasters. That created a whole new lens through which that people view the royals, view Kate, view William. It's like they seem to react slowly to their own mess that they create. And I think the reason that same team has still been there is because they're just yes men and women. That's how they've managed to stay so long despite all the disasters. They probably tell them, oh no, it's fine, don't do anything, just focus on this, just copy everything Harry and Meghan are doing, it'll be fine. It's most definitely not fine. People are looking at you like, are these people okay? So now it explains why their whole PR strategy since then has been a mess. They pretty much don't have a strategy. Number one, all we've seen consistently is them copycat everything Harry and Meghan are doing. When they're doing anything, it has no impact and doesn't land. You had Kate showing up with her briefcase and her suit. They had that whole conference thing. Where has that gone, and what is that about? We don't know. That came and that went. All I saw was pictures of Kate in a suit holding a folder. Then we've had a whole year of these seasonal videos that arrive late with each season, where Kate's talking about the nature, but you then moved into a whole forest lodge and took away 150 acres of the public's nature. And then on top of that, you've been working less and going on vacations more. Yachting, skiing, doing everything but work. And when you do work, what counts as work? Going to football games, going to rugby games. PR strategy where? Where is it? Do these people even know what they're doing anymore? And also it's not like the other royals are doing any better. They're just doing the same old royal nonsense that they've been doing for decades. Princess Anne with her 355 million appearances that she does every year, and you don't know what she's done or where she's gone. Camilla and Charles, obviously, they show up to events and they do things with the public. But again, there's no actual strategy. It's like they're just kicking a can down the road and seeing how much longer can we rinse this out? How much longer can we just continue this charade with no accountability? But I think you're going to see a major turn in 2026. Because you've got to ask questions now. What are we getting from all of this? We have crisis after crisis after crisis. Non-crisis crisis managers having to be hired for said crises. What is the public getting from all of this? What are we getting? That's the question of 2026. Let's go to your comments and then we'll move on to the next thing. And you know, these types of PR people, they're not getting out of bed for less than 6 figures a month. Not even a year, a month. And they usually only agree to be on a retainer for a minimum of 6 months. Your average PR person that does a little bit of PR for an up and coming beauty brand will ask for a 6 to 12 months contract, let alone a major heavyweight like this. This lady getting paid, Lisa with a Z, Lisa Ravenscroft. She's getting paid. And whose money is being used to pay her? Oh dear. Wendy, you said the UK royals' popularity has plummeted. So many scandals. Monarchy's brand damage is in institutional peril. No spin can fix this hot mess. Exactly. And they still don't seem to understand this. There's no spin, no non-crisis crisis manager that is going to help this. I don't care if Lisa sounds like she comes from a Harry Potter book itself. There's no magic that can be done. Benjamin, reportedly, he has given 89 million to Camilla. Why not his brother? Although none of them deserve it, with the exception of Harry and Meghan. Is this Charles that's given money to Camilla? I mean, I can't confirm that or how much money that Camilla would be getting and what for. I'm sure Camilla will get something upon his death if she hasn't already been given something. But I can't confirm what figure that is. Definitely can't confirm it's 89 million. Do you think Charles could take the children if they come to the UK? Lily was born in the US, but all this hype is giving me a strange feeling. This has been discussed before, that apparently there's some kind of law that says that the monarch has right to all royal children, and I'm sure that that is something that Harry and Meghan have taken into account and thought about all kinds of scenarios, the worst case scenarios. So I don't think that's something that we have to worry about. Um, because I'm sure whatever the case, Harry and Meghan have already thought about it and thought it through. And I think this is a conversation we had even last time when the children did come around the Jubilee time. So I don't think it's anything that we have to worry about. Um, Tiger Mum, you missed out on the bookmark. Yeah, you're not the only one. I mean, they said it's a limited edition item, but if it's been as successful as it has been and people love it, I would like to think they'd bring it back, especially if it was made by a small UK artisan. Thank you so much, Kat Harlem, for being a member for 41 months. Kat Harlem, you are a real one. Appreciate you. Yes, Electra Kate is so popular that her Christmas concert bombed and nobody watched it. Um, let's have a look. Benjamin, you said the continued framing of Harry as a saga is a damn shame. He is not in trouble. He simply wants respect. Yes. The thing is that they will never be able to let that narrative go, because if they let it go, it verifies what we all with common sense know, that Harry left by his own, it was his own choice to leave. And it's not that Meghan dragged him. He wanted to protect himself. He wanted to protect his family. Now, ultimately, I think that Harry just wanted a very happy life in the UK, half in, half out, peaceful life with his family. But the institution wouldn't give that to Harry and Meghan. The tabloid press wouldn't give it to Harry and Meghan. The trolls wouldn't give it to Harry and Meghan, so they had to leave. And ever since then, the trolls, the press, and the palace have tried to behave as if everything but them is the problem. So that narrative that you just mentioned, my dear, it continues because if people realize that Harry is indeed happy, well, then they can't blame Meghan for this false idea of unhappiness that they've created in the tabloid narrative. It's been obvious for a while that Harry is perfectly happy. Benjamin, you said, and perhaps this is all karma for what happened to Diana. Let's not forget her through William threw his mother under a bus 20 years plus after her death. Indeed. I do believe the royals are getting karma for a lot of things. Not just the passing of Diana. And the press is going to get their karma too. Thank you so much, Tiger Mummy, for the super chat. Love you too. Appreciate you too. Lottie said that's why he would never make a good king. Who, William? He has no idea of his own. He's very dumb. The only thing he does is copy everything that Harry does. And the thing is that he's had plenty of time. William has had plenty of time to become his own man, knowing that he's going to be king, and he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. Why not? Laziness of the highest order. Gee whiz, you said if William wants to be effective, clean house of the padded resumes and hire a minimum but experienced, accomplished business expert. Get rid of the yes men. The thing is, that is a very good point, but what you've just said in your comment, you're 100% right, but it should have been done a long time ago. It's way too late to do it now to be effective. First of all, the courtiers in the royal house cling on to those roles and cling on to the status that those roles give them for dear life. So that is why William is surrounded by yes men, because they're not interested in actually doing what's best for the firm, the image of the firm, the individual members of the royal family. They are concerned with doing what's best for themselves and the privileges that they get having "I work for the royal family" on their resume. So yes, William would be more effective if he cleaned house, but I think even William himself, Kate herself, only want yes men and women around them anyway. And this goes from the pettiest things to how they're dressed, because we now know that indeed Kate's person was stalking Meghan's pages and her friends' pages. It goes from petty things to how they're dressed to even more important things, like maybe we shouldn't release a photo, a Frankenstein photo that's going to get a kill order from the Associated Press and Getty Images. And quite frankly, as we've already seen, the respected business experts that you're saying, Gee that they should hire, we've already seen examples where those respected business experts come into the house, look around them dusty castles, and run straight back out again. That literally happened with one. The lady who formerly worked for the Jamie Oliver, she barely even started her role. Who that is respectable would even want to work for this firm? If you are a respectable person, would you want to work for them? Accomplished as you are, would you want to dirty your name? Not everybody sees work for the royal family on their CV as a good thing. And having to work in a high stress environment like this, if you're working for, say, a beauty brand or a drinks brand, the campaign is dropping on this date at this time, and that's when I have to be on the ball, right? You don't have to be on the ball 24/7. Every second of the day, a new scandal could drop with the royals, especially with these lot, with the leftovers. Every second of the day, a new photograph of Jeffrey Epstein could come out. Every second of the day, a potential mistress could start flapping her gum. Every second of the day, someone's grandmother could get run over because the royal motorcade was going too fast. You're gonna lose your hair. Your skin's gonna start drying out. Would you want to work for a firm like this for all the money in the world? I wouldn't want to do it. With a resume that I'm sure Lisa with a Z has, you could take a different job, less stress. I honestly think that she is insane. Lisa, if you're listening, or one of your team members is listening, because I'm sure they listen to all of our podcasts, Lisa with a Z, I think you're insane. I think you're insane for working with the royal family. And I think you're definitely biting off more than you think that you can chew. When you're working for an establishment like this, at this level, you don't sleep. I hope you don't like sleeping. Rochelle, you said, what happened to the PR person, Lee Thompson? Gosh, that name sounds familiar, but Kate and William have had so many team members. I'm even forgetting who Lee Thompson is, but I feel like that name is familiar. Can somebody? Okay, Rochelle, tell me again who Lee Thompson was, because it rings a bell, but my memory's defeating me right now. Whoever that is, if they've got a new non-crisis crisis manager, well, Lee Thompson's probably gone. Yes, or Rebecca. The rules don't pay as much as I hear. That is true, but those are just for the roles that we've seen advertised for things like assistant, that type of thing. I think for a higher role like this, I think they would have to pay. They would have to pay a lot more. I think they pay less where they know that they can get away with it. But I think for something like this, they would have to pay more. Mm. Electro, you said they don't want those kids in reference to my answer about the monarch having right to the children. It's not about whether or not they personally want those kids or like those kids. It's about having access to those children. And the thing is, even if Archie and Lily end up having private lives and they don't have public lives, there is always going to be a lot of interest about them. Archie and Lily are they're stars whether they want to be or not when they're older. The interest in them is going to be a lot greater, I think, than even in George, Charles, George, Louis, and Charlotte as they grow and become adults. I think there's already more interest in the Sussex children than there is in the heirs. And so it's not about whether or not they like them. I think it's whether or not is there a way to get access to them to tame that star power. And you got to remember, that's the real reason why they want Harry back and why they would have Meghan back. Not to welcome them back, to control them. It's all about control with this institution. That's why the Sussex kids, they should just stay as far away as possible. I'm sure Harry would want his kids to see and learn about and embrace their British side, but I just think it's way too dangerous for them. The firm, those kids are perfectly innocent, but the firm will always see them as a threat. As far as the firm is concerned, the interest with the Sussex children is it's always going to be too great. And the crazy thing is how much of that interest isn't even from us, the fans. It's from the haters, the trolls, and the tabloids. I couldn't care less if we never saw Archie and Lily again. If they just want to live private lives, they should certainly live private lives as children. If they just want to live private lives as adults. But the tabloids, they're not going to have that. At every turn, every chance, they're going to want access to Archie and Lily. And that is a problem for the firm. Because it takes away attention from the heirs. Thank you so much to Joan Garcia, member for 24 months. Joan Garcia, I feel like you've been a member for longer. But sometimes YouTube, if you remove membership, the dates come out funny. But thank you so much, Joan Garcia, for being around. Love seeing your name when it pops up. You still enjoy the podcast and music. I had to get rid of the other music just because it's too expensive to have. But I hope you enjoy this music. Kevon Slims, hello. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, could the crisis person be because of Harry's lawsuit coming up? Something may come out. That is another good point. Thank you, Kevon Slims. I don't even think Celeb Bitchy pointed that out. Very, very good point. And you know the tabloids do not want Harry to go ahead with that court case. I'm sure they've also been threatening the royal household because this is the Daily Fail, right? This is Rothermere. Now, don't forget, it wasn't even 2 weeks after Meghan won her case against the Daily Fail, Camilla was at a gardening event with Jonathan Rothermere. Cheek kisses and hugs. She was sitting in the front row with him at a gardening event. Now, of all the people you could invite to come and sit with you front row at a gardening event, you invite the guy that owns the very newspaper that the daughter-in-law was suing. Oh, Camilla's gonna get hers one day. I mean, I feel like Camilla's entire life has been her getting hers, because what a life she's lived. But more's coming for her. Thank you very much for pointing that out, Kavon Slims. That's a very good point. Benjamin, you said Harry and Meghan covering Archie and Lily's faces is a flex. I hope they continue as long as possible. Don't even bring them for the funeral. Magic will be gone for them as kids. Yeah, and I just think it's all just gonna be too much. It's the energy. I mean, a funeral is a very somber event anyway, but it's the energy from all of those people, the energy from those reptilian tabloid writers, the energy from the photographers, the energy from the other members of the royal family, the energy from those snaky courtiers. The kids don't need to feel any of that. I think that would just be traumatizing for them. But who knows? I mean, Charles could live for a bit. He might have another good 5-10 years on him. By that time, the kids will maybe be a little bit older. And when children are that age, you can talk to them, you can prep them. And then maybe in that case, I could see a situation where maybe the kids would come for Charles's funeral. But if Charles leaves us anytime soon, I think that'll be very traumatic for those children. Just to be surrounded by that snake energy. I mean, you saw what Harry and Meghan looked like in the car at the end of the Queen's funeral. Would you want that for your kids? I wouldn't. Even if my dad is the king. Girl Joy, these people are an embarrassment to the UK. Every single day there's a crisis. The royal family and British media are toxic. They live off drama. They live off drama indeed. I mean, they turn jam into drama, for goodness sake. Electra, how long is that trial again? I think it's 6 to 8 weeks. It's a long trial. Joseph Bruno, I hope Charles lives until 100. I hope Charles lives until 100 and 110. Yeah. I hope Charles lives until 120. I'm actually wishing Charles a very long and healthy life. I hope Charles is going nowhere anytime soon. Long live my king indeed. I mean, William has been leaking for the last 2 years that Charles is about to leave us, to the point where Channel 5 had the audacity to do a documentary where they did a fake announcement of Charles' death. Imagine. That is how audacious they got because of William's leaking. I agree with you, Joseph. I hope Charles lives until 110. Okay. Next thing. So folks, my slides are loading a little bit. Yeah. And part of the reason William, of course, is so angsty is because he just wants to get his hands on that crown. I think that William is I think he's worried about a situation where even if it's for public optics, even if it's not genuine, even if it's just for public optics, I think William is worried about a situation where Harry and Charles, even if it's for public optics, seem aligned. If a so-called olive branch has been extended and there's some sense of reconciliation. I think William is terrified of a situation where, and I think this is why you're getting so much briefing and you're going to see more in the lead up to Invictus. He's terrified of a situation where if Charles goes to Invictus and him and Kate don't go to Invictus, what that's going to look like. I wouldn't even be surprised if leading up to Invictus you start seeing, or even just now, if it starts now, Charles won't go to Invictus because Harry disrespected him. I wouldn't put it past William and his people to start leaking things like that. I think it will be such a chess move if Charles did go to Invictus. Like I said again, I don't think it will be genuine, but even if it's just for a PR facade, if Charles went, it would make him look good, and if William and Kate don't go, it would make them look terrible. So over the weekend, the Sun reported that Prince Harry desperately wants Charles to attend the 2027 Invictus Games. Now, again, we don't know that for sure, so let's not believe what the Sun says. I mean, I believe that Harry and his people would extend invitations just as a formality, at the very least. To what extent do I think Harry actually wants his father to be there? I don't know, and I'm not going to claim that I do know. According to those sources, Harry will ask his father to attend the opening ceremony, given that the games will end on July 17th, and that's Camilla's birthday. If all of this seems like a hysterical freakout more than 18 months ahead of schedule, then you would be correct. But you know what the Left Behinds are like. They love nothing more than screaming, crying, and throwing up over an event 2 years away. Well, as it turns out, William is incandescent with rage, panic, and jealousy at the thought that Daddy could choose to go to Harry's event. Sources close to William ran straight to Tom Sykes to cry about how Charles should turn down Harry's Invictus invitation. Some experts from the Royal Substack. I've been talking to friends and allies of Charles and William all day to gauge a reaction to Harry's latest campaign, trying to get the King to open Harry's big Invictus Games event in Birmingham next year. The story was confirmed to me as essentially true by sources in Harry's camp. After talking to all sides, listen, one thing you gotta always remember about Tom Sykes is that he doesn't have access to Harry's people. Just remember that when he writes this nonsense in his Substack, I'm sure that he gets leaks from Kensington Palace, but he knows nothing about Harry's people and what they're doing. What I can tell you for sure is that while this is a long way from a done deal, there is a very real possibility that Charles, for some insane reason, might actually be thinking about doing this. Well, what's so insane, Tom? What's so insane? Charles is the king. Invictus Games is being held in the UK. And doesn't it just show the pettiness of William that he doesn't recognize that even if it's just as a formality, Charles probably should go? There are definitely going to be government ministers at the Invictus Games. So it's going to look really bad if Charles doesn't go. I don't think anybody will care if Camilla goes. We've already ruled her out as petty and ridiculous. But it's going to look bad if Charles doesn't go. He doesn't even have to appear on the stage, but he should be sitting up there in the crowd. So I'm not going to read the whole of Tom Sykes' rubbish, but the article goes on to say this piece is overwrought and I cut out a lot of backstory. But there's one concession I'll make to Sykes' pro William position. Charles's dithering isn't helping anyone. Charles's message on his sons is chaotic and contradictory, and it's way past time for Charles to figure out what kind of relationship he wants to have with both Harry and William. Charles needs to come up with some plan and stick to it rather than going whichever way the wind blows on any given week. That being said, I get the sense that Charles often feels terrorized by William. I feel like everybody feels terrorized by William. Everybody except for Jason Off, who's there to give him a hug when William needs it. And that Charles is deeply disappointed with William's enormous character flaws. Well, Charles may be disappointed by William's enormous character flaws, but he has actually been responsible for them. William's short-sightedness, stupidity, classlessness, lack of culture, and fundamental bullying nature. Well, whose fault is that, quite frankly? Is that not Charles's fault? He enabled it from the time Charles was a kid. Oh, sorry, he enabled it from the time that William was a kid. Charles is like everyone else. He walks on eggshells around William and his violent temper. Charles actually wants to have a relationship with Harry, but Charles doesn't know how to go about it without incurring William's wrath. Well, I don't know if I believe that Charles wants to have a relationship with Harry because of the way that he pulled his security. Not to mention briefings like the one above. I mean, look at how audaciously stupid William is, and that's what Charles has to deal with on a somewhat daily basis from his heir. William is briefing his sycophantic press allies that Charles, Britain's commander-in-chief, should publicly announce that he's not coming to the Invictus Games or supporting the Invictus community whatsoever. Sure, that would go over well. Great strategy, Peggy. Like I said, Charles has enabled all of this. And the way that Charles has also acted himself, being vindictive, especially with the security matters, has also enabled this. Because I'm sure William is probably looking at that and think as much as I think William has issues with Harry, William is probably looking at Charles's actions towards Harry and going, well, Charles will be ruthless if he has to be. So he may even be ruthless with me. And that's probably why William in turn is being ruthless with Charles. A dysfunctional good on mess. Definitely not a family. What type of family is this? Let's go to your comments. It literally said every head of state goes to those events, so it's a given Charles should be there. Exactly. Yeah, I'm bothered. That's what I believe. Harry will extend an invitation out of courtesy, but not necessarily that he needs him there so desperately. No. I believe that if Charles does go, it will be the government that puts pressure. Because you definitely can't have the prime minister there and not have Charles there. Optically, it just looks bad on Charles. And that Charles is commander-in-chief in name of the British Army. And there are probably people in those regiments who may have taken part in Invictus Games, who are family members that have taken part in Invictus Games, for sure respect what the Invictus Games does. So how can you have the commander-in-chief of the army not there? Gurdwell, you said William has already destroyed his reputation. A crisis manager is not going to solve it. It's just a waste of money. Yeah, indeed. And you know what? If Lisa with the Z, Ravenscroft, if she's as smart as her CV says that she is, she probably knows that. She knows. A good PR manager knows when they see a mess that cannot be cleaned. And I think she likely knows. But she wants that royal PR name on her CV and she wants the money. But I do not believe a PR crisis manager at her level wouldn't know that there's nothing that can be done here. There's no way she honestly believes that this is a mess that can be cleaned up. Because if she don't, she's definitely stupid. Okay. Next thing, just wanted to mention Omid is actually back on Twitter. He's been tweeting a lot. He was away because I think he's just been focusing on life and his other projects. He has this book, Royal Spin, which is now going to be turned into, I think, a TV series. So it draws from his real life experiences in as a royal reporter, and it's the story itself. It is fiction, but it draws on his real life experiences. And it centers around a young American woman who takes a job at Buckingham Palace, where she finds herself tangled in a royal mess she might not be able to spin her way out of. So, well done to Omid. Book deal's done, and now apparently it's going to be a series as well. And he's back on Twitter if you want to follow his tweets. All right, folks. I think I've talked enough for today. Talked for over an hour. I mean, how does the royal family expect to spin out of this? Images like this, images of what we saw with Kate sitting at the state banquet with Donald Trump, those photos only taken a few months ago, only for his regime to shoot and murder an innocent woman in the streets. You can't spin your way out of this. You can't spin your way out of anything that is going on with the royals. Like I said, I give Miss Lisa with a Z, I give her 1 month. I mean, she has a name that sounds like a house from Harry Potter. I hope she can spin some magic. Because it's only magic that's going to help clean up any of this mess. All right. I'm going to leave things there. Thank you as always for coming, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your super chats and your donations. Links in the description box if you would like to donate. Definitely helps the podcast keep running. Thank you to KOB. I won't say your full name because I don't know if you want your full name said. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you, everyone, for showing up as always. And yeah, let's see what else Meghan has for us this year. We are off to a great start. All right, folks, I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.